Alright, hello Rock Canyon kindergartners. Today we have something super special planned for you. So you're going to have a different teacher today. I'm going to be your teacher, and my name is Abby. I'm also a student just like you, except I'm in college. So I'm going to BYU right now, and I'm learning how to be an art teacher. So maybe someday I'll be able to teach students just like you. But we're going to make something super fun. So we're going to be making ladybugs in a jar, okay? And so we're going to pretend that we're ladybug scientists. And so we're going to observe, which means we look closely at ladybugs and notice little things about them, like how many legs they have, how many spots they have, stuff like that, okay? So we're going to start out. In your little packet, you should have a white piece of paper with a jar printed on it. And so what we want you to do is we want you to carefully cut out the jar. So cut out along the edges, make it look nice and neat. And make sure you cut it out all the way. Make those edges look nice and pretty. Okay, awesome. So once you have that, we're gonna glue the jar onto the piece of paper. So you can take tape or a glue stick or liquid glue if you want to. And we're gonna have you stick it on the back of the paper. So I'm gonna use some glue. Awesome. Okay, so you want to glue it kind of close to the bottom so that there's just a little space. Okay, and then once you have that done, we're going to paint the ladybugs. So what you want to do is you want to take your little packet of red paint. Okay, and this part's a little messy, so you have to be kind of careful that you don't get paint everywhere, okay? But you're going to get your thumb, stick it in the paint, get some paint all over your thumb. But make sure it's not too much paint. We don't want it to be dripping or super, super gooey, because then your ladybugs will take a really long time to dry. But once you have paint on your thumb, you're just going to press it down and make cute little ladybugs. And you can make as many ladybugs as you want, but make sure you have at least 3, okay? So I'm going to put my 3 little ladybugs in my jar. And since it's kind of messy, make sure you go wash your hands right after this part, okay? Because you don't want to get paint all over all your papers. So I'm going to do that really quick, and I'm going to go wash my hands. Okay. Alright, so now we're back. Our hands are nice and clean. And we're going to let our ladybugs dry for a little bit, because we have to make sure they're nice and dry and the paint isn't wet so it doesn't get everywhere. So for the next part, I want you to take your green piece of paper, and we're going to make the grass. Alright, so for the grass, just keep cutting long strips all the way down the piece of paper. Okay, and then we're going to take the pencil, put it on the edge, and curl it up. It can be a little bit tricky to keep the edge under the pencil, but you can do it. Just push the piece of paper under the pencil and keep rolling it till we get all the way down. Just like that. And while you're curling, let's learn some fun things about ladybugs. So ladybugs are a type of beetle, and sometimes they are also called ladybird beetles, which is kind of a funny name, huh? And ladybugs can live for 2 to 3 years when they live out in the wild. And they also have 6 legs, which means they're an insect. And they have 2 wings, and they have a bunch of little spots on their back. And do you know what ladybugs eat? Maybe you've heard of the word they eat aphids, which are little green bugs that sit on plants. And so when they eat the aphids, they're helping the plants, because then the aphids can't eat the plants. So ladybugs are very good for the environment. All right, so once your pieces of grass are curled, we're going to glue it to the bottom of the paper so it covers the bottom of the jar a little bit. So take your glue or your tape, whatever you have, and just glue it to the bottom of the paper. Okay, and so since these ladybugs aren't quite dry, I have a different project with ladybugs that are dry that I'm going to use now, okay? So make sure your ladybugs are completely dry before you do this because you don't want to mess them up. So what we're going to do, once you have your paper all curled and all pretty, you're going to glue it to the bottom, and then it's time to draw the ladybugs. Okay, now here's the fun part where we get to draw the ladybugs. So you can see I have a few that are already finished over here, so that's what they're going to look like when you're done. But you can make them look how you want. So just remember, the paint has to be completely dry. We don't want it to smudge at all, or else it'll mess up the Sharpie, and it'll make your ladybug look a little bit messy. Okay, so what we're going to do is you can draw a little head at the end with your Sharpie. Or if you have another marker you want to use, you can use that too. We're going to draw a little head, and then we're going to draw a line down the back to separate the two wings. And then after, you can draw little spots. Draw as many as you want. Just make it look like a ladybug. Super fun. And then we're going to draw the legs. So you remember how many legs a ladybug has? They have 6 legs. So draw 3 on each side to make the little legs. And then you can draw a little antenna if you want. And there you have a ladybug. Awesome. Well, once you're finished, your project will look kind of like this. You got your ladybugs, you got your curly grass, and super cool project. But make sure you put your name on the back, okay? So I'm going to put my name right here so that my teacher knows who I am. And then when you're finished, you can give it to your teacher, turn it in, and maybe it'll go up on the art wall. So it was super fun being able to teach you guys, and now it is your turn. So go have fun making some ladybugs. Have a good day.